Buonasera a tutti ragazzi, benvenuti alla nuova serie, ovvero Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. Finalmente dovremmo esserci. Dopo vari test con l'emulatore e tutto quanto, così dovremmo esserci per offrirvi perlomeno un'esperienza accettabile. Perché dico questo? Perché i test che ho fatto in precedenza su questo gioco qua, purtroppo il gioco andava a scatti o comunque rallentato, i filmati non erano tutt'altro che perfetti, anzi erano rallentati, molto molto lenti come velocità. Smanettando un po' le impostazioni dovrei esserci riuscito a risolvere il problema, purtroppo non è l'effetto che vorrei io, però ragazzi per quello non c'è niente da fare, cioè per quello ci vuole per forza la PlayStation 2 e il disco originale, cioè non ce n'è. E onestamente ho troppa voglia di portare questo gioco sul canale, per cui allora ho fatto delle prove con i filmati e vedo che comunque sono fluidi. Questa è la cosa fondamentale. Il gameplay purtroppo tende a volte a essere un pelo, diciamo, un pelo lento. Fortunatamente non si blocca, però è molto, in certe sezioni concitate è molto rallentato. Però perlomeno i filmati sono accettabili, non è un livello, cioè non è un livello buono, cioè scusate, non è un livello buonissimo, mettiamola così, ma è comunque un livello accettabile, diciamo accettabile, tra virgolette. Perlomeno si riescono a vedere i filmati, tutto quanto, senza problemi, però anche lì qualche volta un pelo di fluidità manca, però fortunatamente sono piccole parti, diciamo. C'è da vedere, nel senso, mano a mano che gioco, terrò sempre d'occhio comunque la velocità di gioco, tutto quanto, insomma. In alto a sinistra vedete la velocità, lo speed appunto. Il problema è che quello lì a volte scende giù anche al 30% e lì sì che diventa lento appunto.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West.
Quindi
This marked the beginning
contesto
of the era
esatto,
called the
la guerra
Cold
fredda.
War.
Metal Gear Solid 3 è il prequel nella saga di appunto Metal Gear Solid ed è il mio Metal Gear Solid preferito in assoluto. A livello di emozione è quello che mi dà di più in assoluto. Veramente un film sostanzialmente, più che un videogioco. Un capolavoro di riprese cinematografiche. Per l'epoca era davvero avantissimo.
Flying over Pakistan, altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Sì, a volte scatta un po', ragazzi. Non ci posso fare assolutamente niente. Questo è il massimo che posso fare.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Cioè i dettagli, ragazzi. Guardate che roba, è spettacolare, cazzo.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate the alarm bottle.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by.
Il sigaro che è tornato indietro, ragazzi.
Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
Che figata. Porca puttana. Boom. Hideo Kojima. Director. Assolutamente.
Jack, I've got some important news.
Mente
The head of the
assoluta del
CIA has
progetto.
finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Questa missione fantastica.
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight
Questo è vero, eh.
in history.
Questa cosa è vera.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1,
Questa è
known as
storia
the
vera.
Vostok rocket.
Beh, razzo vostro non so, però sinceramente.
Sokolov is said to be the man
Vabbè, Sokolov
most responsible
c'entrava
for the
niente.
multi-engine cluster used in that rocket.
Lui motore in
After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
Cosa
It
interessante.
seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Esatto.
Afraid.
Sì.
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly
Cioè, la cosa
after.
bella sono proprio queste immagini
I was the
vere.
one who conducted the operation.
Questo mix tra immagini vere
The
e
security
videogioco,
on the
diciamo.
eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent.
Minchia.
And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Esatto.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove
Questo è
the
vero,
missiles.
questa è storia vera.
At the same time, he announced a naval
il
blockade
blocco
to
navale,
prevent
vero.
further missile shipments from reaching Cuba.
Esatto.
But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the
Sì, perché
hair-trigger
si è rischiato
standoff.
veramente una crisi.
Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its
Esatto,
missiles from
questa è storia
Cuba,
vera.
and so the world avoided a nuclear
Esatto,
holocaust.
siamo stati vicinissimi.
But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs
Questo
from
non so se è
Turkey?
vero, onestamente.
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value
Non credo che sia
whatsoever to
vera sta
either the
cosa.
US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov.
Vabbè, qui
They wanted us to return
si
Sokolov.
inizia nella fantapolitica qua.
You
Un'altra
mean
volta.
the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working
È qui
on?
che adesso si fa interessante il
At the
gioco.
time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice.
Dave Sokolov.
President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out
Ma la
of the
domanda che
hospital,
dovete farvi voi
handing
è:
him over to agents
perché
on the eastern
Sokolov
side.
è così
Sokolov
importante?
kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight.
Perché il presidente lo vuole addirittura, il presidente russo lo vuole addirittura
Then a month ago,
in cambio dello
we received
smantellamento
some new
dei
information
missili.
from one of our moles.
Perché?
About
Non
Sokolov.
posso dire niente.
Yes. He was taken back to the research
Già qua
facility
lo
and forced
spiega,
to
però.
continue working on the
Esatto.
weapon in question under KGB supervision.
Esattamente.
What's more, it's on the verge of
Esatto.
completion.
La domanda è: che cos'è?
So what kind of weapon is
Eh.
it? Something to do with space rockets?
No.
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Infatti, questo sto dicendo io.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No, according to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him
Esatto.
back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility.
Questa è una figata pazzesca.
This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted
Anche
us.
Soko deve sapere quando ci ha contattato, infatti. Esattamente. Abbiamo solo questa possibilità. Beh, la missione mi sembra abbastanza, cioè non abbastanza, è chiarissima, cristallina, lampante e tutto quanto.
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino-Yarsk in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the west. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talent?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast,
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
Questo sguardo d'intesa poi alice tutto, cazzo. Si è bucato il paracadute. Mi è bucato. Ah, ecco perché serviamo così, perché ho bucato... Aia! Minchia. Usti. Usti. La natura, il contatto con la natura, fin da subito, linfa vitale di questo Snake Eater.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training?
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I liked snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
Ok ragazzi, ci vediamo al prossimo video. Questo era un intro lungo, però fondamentale per appunto chiarire le dinamiche di gioco, praticamente. Cioè, scusate, le dinamiche, ho detto una cazzata. Fondamentale per chiarire il contesto, scusate, di gioco, cioè il senso della missione, quello che dobbiamo fare, appunto in che situazione ci troviamo, il contesto geopolitico, la fantapolitica, insomma, un intro a tutti gli effetti. Ci vediamo quindi al prossimo video. Ciao ciao.